Good day, collective. It's your girl, Sadi Rose, coming to you with today's word. Are you currently in a moment where it seems like everything is falling apart around you? Or have you been there recently? If you have, and the answer is yes, this message is definitely for you. The word today is now is the time for renewal. All praise to the Most High God. Love to the Mother. Y'all, there is nothing like getting tore down, broke down by life. I think all of us kind of go through it when we're younger, And like the first time you have your first real moment of that tear down an old you to make the way for the new you is really quite an experience. And I always think about, especially when you're young, if you have that moment when you're younger, especially as a teenager, how critically important it becomes because, you have this younger, fresh perspective about how you're going to take the tear down. Is it going to be a moment that takes you down a path where, you go lower kind of in terms of your frequency and you become fed up and you just think that life has no meaning anymore, or that you can never become who you want to become, so you kind of become the walking dead, where you get addicted to certain toxic people, certain toxic habits. You stop trying, your dreams die, your creativity wanes, and you no longer are really on your life path. Or you use it as an opportunity to release the old stuff that's out of alignment with your life in order to become the newer version of yourself that is in alignment with your God path, with your North Node of who you're supposed to be. When I was younger, definitely chose a renewal, a rebirth when I left Muncie, Indiana, and I went to Culver, and I fought like all get out to do well, which worked out. But the older I got, of course, with life, I had to heal all the parts of me that were never resolved, which I have gone into details, in other words. And in those dark nights of the soul, of those times of breakdown, which never feel good, y'all, like ever. You feel horrible. You feel like you're getting your butt kicked because you are. Those moments, I realized that, especially this last one I had, that I got so low on the tear down, the breakdown, just of what was happening, that I had like hit the floor. And it was in that moment that I fully surrendered control of my life and committed to the flow of God and the guidance of God, to follow it, to closely follow it, to listen to it, to no longer just try to do what I thought was right and what I wanted to do, but to be open and receptive to my full potential of what life can be. And so if you are at this moment where things are happening and it feels as if you are being tore down, or it feels as if everything in your life, or it might be someone that you care for, is going through this, where everything in your life feels like it is falling apart, where everything in your life or their life, it's like nothing's going away, and they are becoming distraught and lost, and depressed, and possible, kind of wellness implications regarding their longing to live. I really want to encourage you, whether it's for you or someone else, to look at this opportunity as a moment for recreation rather than a moment of loss, of failure, of, just lack of purpose. It's happening to you because obviously whatever's happening presently in your reality is not aligning with what the real you, the authentic you inside of you wants. Whether it's people that are in your life, places where you are, or like how you're living your life are not making you happy. And it's up to you to use this place of where you are right now to make the space and the time for you to really talk to yourself, whether it's at night before you go to bed or before the sun rises in the morning, and pray to God, pray with yourself. Ask yourself, what else do I need and what do I need to release? What is an outdated, out of alignment version of myself that I need to address so that I can position myself to bring in the reality that makes me happy, that brings me peace, that makes me excited, that allows me to grow and expand. So, seriously, y'all, if you're in this whirlwind, if you're in the storm, if you have people pulling you into the storm, causing massive chaos and destabilization, even if you live with them or they're at your job, or if it's someone external to you, making you confused, making you discontent, making you feel like you're unhappy, the first thing you need to do is to make space between you and that person. And this includes younger people in any way that you can. I'm not saying leave, but like make some space so that you can think. Remove that like as much as you can initially. You have to give yourself that space so you can digest what you need to do differently. You, not them, you. And I think that is probably one of the most important points that I learned in my process of recreating myself, is that I could never change anybody else around me. Not as bad as I wanted to. They were always going to stay the same. They are always going to be who they choose to be unless they choose different. I had to realize that. And I had to realize that I had created a prison in my mind. I had created a prison. I had created a trap. And even though I didn't realize at the time that I had created a prison, I grew cold. I grew frustrated. I grew irritated. I became discontent because I was in there, and I really did think that the external forces in my life were keeping me trapped there, and I became resentful of it. They were pieces of garbage, though that person was, but that's a whole other matter at the time. But it was very much a trap that I only had the power to free myself from. And when I surrendered to God and started listening to my intuition and guidance, I was told day by day what exactly I needed to do to free myself, because I literally was the only one that could. And the same applies for you. So take the reins of your life today. I don't, I don't know how you're feeling at this moment. You might really, really, really be at your wits' end. But rather than looking at this moment from a mindset that this is the end, I want you to claim that this is your beginning of a new life. And I want you to be brave when you move forward.